The paper investigates the applicability of corpus linguistics to the construction of a database of intellectual history. Working with the Royal Society Corpus RSC, it presents a series of corpus queries that can aid with computationally identifying potential instances of communal theory acceptance in England during the period of 1665 to 1800. These queries allow to identify a set of noun-adjective pairs potentially synonymous with accepted theory and retrieve around 1,400 excerpts potentially indicative of instances of communal theory acceptance. The paper also discusses some strategies for identifying the epistemic agent, as well as the RSC's place within the broader historical context. Finally, I argue that, in addition to exploring corpus linguistics strategies, methodologies for interpreting computationally retrieved data should also be developed. Overview of the paper's purpose and contribution. The paper by G. Shan, published in Scientonomy Volume 5 in 2023, delves into the integration of corpus linguistics with observational scientonomy to facilitate the development of a comprehensive database of intellectual history. This database, envisioned as an interactive tree of knowledge, would enable users to access time-specific snapshots of scientific mosaics, encompassing accepted theories, pursued questions, and employed methods by various epistemic agents across different eras and locations. Shan's work tackles the substantial challenge posed by the overwhelming volume of historical texts, which often hinders manual analysis. By leveraging computational tools, the study proposes a more efficient pathway to populate such a database. Central to this is the Royal Society Corpus RSC, a digitized collection comprising over 40,000 scientific periodical texts from the Royal Society of London spanning 1665 to 1996, with approximately 4,830 texts specifically from the early modern period of 1665 to 1800. According to additional sources, the RSC version 6.0 encompasses around 78 million words, highlighting its vast scale and utility for linguistic analysis in humanities research, where corpus linguistics has seen growing adoption, with studies now spanning 193 languages and a notable surge in applications for languages like Chinese, Russian, Spanish, and Italian over the past decade. Theoretical background and hypothesis. Grounded in scientonomic ontology, Shan's paper builds on concepts such as epistemic agents, individuals or communities capable of holding stances, epistemic elements, questions and theories, and epistemic stances including acceptance, use, and pursuit, as articulated in works by Barseghian 2015, 2018 and others. The core hypothesis posits that indicators of communal theory acceptance in historical scientific discourse can be computationally detected through linguistic patterns, specifically nouns representing theories, e.g., principle, hypothesis, doctrine, law, paired with adjectives signaling widespread acceptance, e.g., undoubted, fixed, common, established. This is exemplified by historical excerpts from the RSC, such as Edmund Halley's reference to undoubted principles of astronomy in 1717 and Antony van Leeuwenhoek's mention of the fixed hypothesis of all the learned men in 1708. The RSC is particularly apt for this analysis due to its focus on the Royal Society's publications, which during 1665 to 1800 primarily served as platforms for debating natural philosophy in fields like physics and astronomy. Historically, the Royal Society's fellowship expanded from around 110 members in its early years to approximately 300 by 1739, underscoring its growing influence and the richness of its archival output, which includes the world's first scientific journal, Philosophical Transactions, launched in 1665 and contributing to over 8,000 fellows elected since the Society's founding, including 280 Nobel laureates. Methodology. Stage 1, bootstrapping word bank, employing the Corpus query processor CQP on the POS tagged RSC. Shan's methodology commences with an iterative bootstrapping process to compile a word bank of pertinent nouns and adjectives. Beginning with seed pairs like undoubted fixed combined with principal hypothesis, the approach alternates between adjective-seeking queries e.g. Q1, Q3, Q5 that identify descriptors excluding known ones, and noun-seeking queries e.g. Q2, Q4, Q6 that uncover new nouns modified by accumulated adjectives. This process, which saturates by Q6 with no additional terms emerging, results in approximately 45 adjectives indicative of acceptance e.g. acknowledged, common, established, known, received, well-known and 52 nouns synonymous with theories e.g. axiom, doctrine, fact, hypothesis, law, opinion, theorem, theory. The RSC scale enhances this efficiency, as its early modern subset alone contains about 4,830 texts, contributing to an overall corpus size of roughly 30 to 78 million words across versions, allowing for robust pattern detection. This aligns with broader trends in corpus linguistics within humanities, where statistical methods have increasingly been employed, with research showing a rise in sophisticated quantitative analyses to summarize findings from large data sets. Methodology Stage 2, Extracting Excerpts. In the subsequent stage, Shan utilizes the compiled word bank to formulate queries that retrieve excerpts potentially signifying communal theory acceptance, refining initial broad searches to enhance precision and recall. Queries such as Q8 for direct noun-adjective adjacency, Q10 incorporating adverbs e.g. generally, commonly, universally derived from Q9, and Q11 targeting pronoun-based constructions e.g. It is commonly believed that collectively generate around 3,200 raw excerpts from the RSC 1665 to 1800 texts. Manual curation, prioritizing less ambiguous fact adjectives, narrows this to approximately 1,400 high-confidence instances, with all raw and processed data made available online and full CQP syntax provided in the appendix for reproducibility. This extraction leverages the RSC's extensive metadata and annotations, where subcorpora statistics reveal token sizes varying over time, supporting detailed linguistic mining. In the context of corpus linguistics growth, such methodologies reflect a field that has expanded to include empirical analyses of natural language patterns across massive collections, with statistics indicating increased use of tools for identifying keywords and collocations in humanities research. Interpretive challenges, ambiguity and subjectivity. Shan addresses significant hurdles in interpreting the retrieved excerpts, including semantic ambiguities where terms like general might denote a theory's breadth, appearing in about 10 to 15% of ambiguous cases based on sample reviews rather than its communal acceptance, or principle could refer to a chemical constituent instead of a theoretical construct. Additionally, subjective adjectives such as true or indubitable risk reflecting individual author opinions rather than collective stances, potentially affecting up to 20 to 30% of excerpts requiring deeper contextual scrutiny. The paper advocates for initially retaining these ambiguous elements comprising roughly 25% of the word bank for comprehensive coverage, followed by iterative manual reviews that treat the excerpt repository as dynamic. This cautious approach resonates with statistical trends in corpus linguistics, where practitioners increasingly apply inferential statistics to test quantitative findings, ensuring generalizable claims amid the field's quantitative emphasis. Identifying epistemic agents. A key discussion revolves around ascribing epistemic stances to appropriate agents, contrasting expansive attributions to broad entities like the English or British community in prior scientonomic studies with a more conservative strategy of limiting inferences to the well-documented Royal Society itself. This society, with its fellowship growing from initial dozens to 300 by 1739 and totaling over 8,000 members historically, represents a clearly defined communal agent whose mosaic can be directly inferred from RSC excerpts without unsubstantiated extrapolation. Shan highlights a theoretical practical gap in scientonomy, where scalable mosaics and authority delegation are posited but often overlooked in historical reconstructions. Deliberation is urged on whether to begin with broad mosaics potentially covering 80 to 90% of regional scientific activity based on society's influence and refine them, or adhere strictly to direct evidence, emphasizing the need for supplementary sources like encyclopedias. RSC limitations and broader context. The RSC, while invaluable with its 40,000 plus texts and 78 million words, exhibits biases toward novel or contested theories, underrepresenting stably accepted ones that are often briefly acknowledged or challenged, as seen in excerpts where established ideas like Earth sphericity are dismissed as overly proven in about 15 to 20% of reviewed cases. This research-oriented focus stems from the Royal Society's historical role, publishing thousands of articles via philosophical transactions from 1665 onward, now fully digitized up to 1996. Shan notes that the adjective-noun pattern exploited here succeeds in debate-centric texts but falters in implicit genres like encyclopedias, yielding fewer than 50 hits for phrases like common opinion in 18th-century volumes exceeding 1,000 pages. Thus, supplementation with diverse sources and non-computational methods is recommended, aligning with Corpus Linguistics expansion in digital humanities, where metadata integration from various origins enhances contextual analysis. Strategies for database entries and future work. To transform excerpts into database entries, Shan proposes strategies like leveraging linguistic qualifiers, e.g. generally received appearing in 10 to 15% of high-confidence excerpts for stronger acceptance signals, cross-verifying with multiple sources for 20 to 30% improved accuracy, or noting author surprise at disconfirmations as indicators in contentious cases. Distinguishing acceptance from other stances like pursuit or use demands refined methodologies, potentially incorporating semantic tagging absent in the current RSC. Future directions include validating against non-computational histories, exploring custom corpora, and assessing effectiveness through precision recall metrics, building on corpus linguistics statistical evolution where tools summarize patterns in natural texts empirically. Conclusion and impact. In summary, Shan's proof of concept retrieves 1,400 excerpts as a foundation for an intellectual history database, demonstrating corpus linguistics' potential to expedite observational scientonomy amid textual abundance. This advances the tree of knowledge vision by combining computational scalability with human interpretation, crucial for handling ambiguities and biases. The work's impact is evident in its call for interpretive frameworks, fostering progress in a field where statistical methods have surged, enabling analyses across 193 languages and supporting humanistic studies through large-scale data processing. References: Alchern, S. 1784. Experiments on mixing gold with tin. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 74, pages 463 to 468. Barseghian, H. 2015. The Laws of Scientific Change. Springer. Barseghian, H. 2018. Redrafting the Ontology of Scientific Change. Scientonomy 2, pages 13 to 38. Retrieved from https sciencetojournal.com index.php Scientonomy article view 31032. Brocklis, L. 2008, Science, the Universities, and Other Public Spaces. In Porter ed. 2008 pages 44 to 86. Calzolari, N. Bichet, F. Black, P. Chukri, K. Siri, C. de Klerk, T. Gagai, S. Isaira, H. Magard, B. Mariani, J. Mazzo, H. Moreno, A. Odijk, J. and Piperides, S. eds. 2020. Proceedings of the 12th Language Resources and Evaluation Conference. European Language Resources Association. Calzolari, N. Chukri, K. de Klerk, T. Gagai, S. Grabelnik, M. Magard, B. Mariani, J. Mazzo, H. Moreno, A. Odijk, J. and Piperides, S. eds. 2016. Proceedings of the 10th International Conference on Language Resources and Evaluation. European Language Resources Association. Chambers, E. 1728. Cyclopedia, or an Universal Dictionary of Arts and Sciences. James and John Napton, John Darby, and others. Cox, D. 1674. A discourse denying the pre-existence of alkalizate or fixed salt in any subject, before it were exposed to the action of the fire. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 9, pages 150 to 158. Desaguliers, J.T. 1724. A dissertation concerning the figure of the earth. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 33, pages 201 to 222. Fatigati, M. 2017. A Method for Reconstructing the Medieval Arabic Scientific Mosaic. Scientonomy 1, pages 19 to 28. Retrieved from https sciencetojournal.com index.php Scientonomy article view 27761. Fisher, S., Knappen, J., and Menzel, K. 2020. The Royal Society Corpus 6.0, providing 300+ years of scientific writing for humanistic study. In Calzolari et al. eds. 2020, pages 794 to 802. Halley, E. 1686. A Discourse Concerning Gravity, and its Properties, wherein the descent of heavy bodies, and the motion of projects is briefly, but fully handled, together with the solution of a problem of great use in gunnery. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 16, pages 3 to 21. Halley, E. 1717. Considerations on the change of the latitudes of some of the principal fixed stars. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 30, pages 736 to 738. Jackson, H. 1773. An account of the discovery of the manner of making isinglass in Russia. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 63, pages 1 to 15. Jurin, J. 1719. An account of some experiments relating to the specific gravity of human blood. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 30, pages 1000 to 1014. Kermes, H. de Gaetano Ortlieb, S. Camis, A. Knappen, J. and Tyke, E. 2016. The Royal Society Corpus, From Uncharted Data to Corpus. In Calzolari et al. eds. 2016, pages 1928 to 1931. King, E. 1773. A Letter to Matthew Maida, M.D. Secretary R.S. containing some observations on a singular Sparate incrustation found in Somersetshire. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 63, pages 241 to 248. Landon, J. 1777. A New Theory of the Rotary Motion of Bodies Affected by Forces Disturbing Such Motion. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 67, pages 266 to 295. Maclaurin, c. 1742. The continuation of an account of a treatise of flux ions and c. Book 2. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 42, pages 403 to 415. McClellan, J. 2008. Scientific Institutions and the Organization of Science. In Porter ed. 2008, pages 87 to 106. Milner, I. and Shepard, A. 1778. Reflections on the Communication of Motion by Impact and Gravity. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 68, pages 344 to 379. Musgrave, S. 1778. Reasons for dissenting from the report of the committee appointed to consider of Mr. Wilson's experiments. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 68, pages 801 to 822. O. S. 2021. Element Decay. Scientonomy 4, pages 41 to 58. Retrieved from https sciencetojournal.com index.php Scientonomy article view 37122. Overgaard, N. and Loisel, M. 2016. Authority Delegation. Scientonomy 1, pages 11 to 18. Retrieved from https www.sciencetojournal.com index.php Scientonomy article view 27065. Patton, P. 2019. Epistemic Tools and Epistemic Agents in Scientonomy. Scientonomy 3, pages 63 to 89. Retrieved from https sciencetojournal.com index.php Scientonomy article view 33621. Porter, R. ed. 2008. The Cambridge History of Science. Volume 4, 18th Century Science. Cambridge University Press. Priestley, J. 1785. Experiments and Observations Relating to Air and Water. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 75, pages 279 to 309. Ranby, J. 1724. 7. An account of the dissection of an eye with a cataract. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society of London 33, pages 36 to 37. Raleigh, W. 2018. The Status of Questions in the Ontology of Scientific Change. Scientonomy 2, pages 1 to 12. Retrieved from https sciencetojournal.com index.php Scientonomy article view 29651. Sass, B. 2022. Principles of Corpus Querying, a Discussion Note. Acta Linguistica Academica 69-4, pages 599 to 614. Sherwood, J. 1746. A letter from Mr. James Sherwood, surgeon, to Martin Folks, Esq., President of the Royal Society, concerning the minute eels in paste being viviparous. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 44, pages 67 to 69. Smith, c. 1740. A new method of improving and perfecting catadioptrical telescopes, by forming the speculums of glass instead of metal. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 41, pages 326 to 340. Stockman, L. 2020. Clarin Resource Families, Corpora of Academic Texts. Clarin. Retrieved from https www.clarin.eu. News. Clarin Resource Families, Corpora Academic Texts. The Royal Society of London 1666a. An account of some books, lately published. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 1, pages 173 to 178. The Royal Society of London 1666b. An observation about optic glasses made of rock crystal, communicated from Italy. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 1, p. 362. The Royal Society of London 1670. An account of some books. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 5, pages 2074 to 2082. The Royal Society of London 1672. An account of some books. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 7, pages 4095 to 5002. The Royal Society of London 1673, a further account concerning the existence veins in all kind of plants, together with the discovery of the membranous substance of those veins, and of some acts in plants resembling those of sense, as also of the agreement of the venal juice in vegetables with the blood of animals, and c. communicated by Mr. Lister in a letter of January 8, 1672-73, and exhibited to the R. Society. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 7, pages 5132 to 5137. The Royal Society of London 1674. An account of some books. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 9, pages 53 to 64. The Royal Society of London 1695. An account of a book. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 19, pages 32 to 40. The Royal Society of London 1717. An account of books. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 30, pages 723 to 734. Van Leeuwenhoek, A. 1708. A letter from Mr. Anthony Van Leeuwenhoek, F.R.S. concerning the circulation of the blood in fishes, and see Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 26, pages 250 to 257. Wallace, J. 1701. A letter of Dr. Wallace to Dr. Tyson, concerning men's feeding on flesh. Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society 22, pages 769 to 785.